We are at war. We are in the midst of a cyber war, whether we like it or not. I will tell you, when history looks back at 2025, 2024, 2023, they're going to go in and determine that we are in the midst of World War III. It started shortly after COVID, around 2022, and has been drastically impacting ever since. Now, to prove my point, because a lot of people, when you talk war, they get scared. When you say cyber war, they get even more scared. When you say World War III, they get even more freaked out. But let's just look at it. What is a war? A war is when two entities are battling each other, trying to cause harm or damage to each other. That's what's happening in cyber. What is a world war? When multiple countries and nations are involved. There is not a single country out there that is not actively targeting other countries, including the United States, and the United States is also targeting them. Because here's the reality. In cyberspace, in cyber war, there are no allies. You might argue in the real world that the US is allies with Canada, most European nations like the UK and Germany. But the reality is, in cyberspace, we are targeting each other. We are combating each other, and we are trying to steal each other's information. Now, what makes this war a lot different, this war is not fought with guns, tanks, planes, and submarines. It's being fought with digits, with digital data, with zeros and ones, information, access about who you are and what you're doing. We often joke, say, but there's a lot of reality to this. If they're trying to steal our critical data, if they're trying to steal our information, our trade secrets, how we operate, how we run to get a competitive advantage, that's typically China. If they're trying to go in and cause harm, damage, disruption to our services, that's typically Iran and North Korea. And if they're trying to do financially targeted attacks, stealing information, bank accounts, cryptocurrency, or causing companies to do false financial transactions, that's usually going to come from Russia or Venezuela. And that's just the starting point. These attacks are going to continue and get worse and worse. But here's the crazy part. This war is not about devastation. It's not about destruction. It's about competitive advantage. China needs the United States. If the United States economics collapses, if the United States basically financial system is destroyed, or our critical infrastructure is taken down, China suffers. China needs the United States. They need us to buy their products, to buy their technologies, and to compete in the marketplace. They don't want to destroy the United States. They just want to control and take over our economy and our financial infrastructure. Same thing with Russia. If our banking system collapses, that's really bad. Because Russia, right now, depending on the numbers, are stealing anywhere from $5 to $8 billion from US individuals on a yearly basis. They need that money. If our financial system collapsed and nobody was doing banking and everybody went back to having money hidden under their mattresses in their bedrooms, that would be really bad for Russia. Russia needs our financial system to be as strong as possible so they can continue to steal billions upon billions of dollars a year. So this is a different type of war. This is a war in which they need our continuing dependence, control, and monitoring so they can steal information and steal data. In most cases, Russia doesn't want to bankrupt your company. They want to take 10%. They don't want to wipe out your bank account. They want to take 5%. And the reality is, if most companies, somebody was stealing 5 or 10%, or somebody's taking 5% from your credit card charges, most people would not know that. Let me ask you a question. How many of you track, whether it's business credit card or personal credit card, track every single expense, down to the actual penny, and verify and validate it 30 days later? Most of us do spot checks. So if we go one of my favorite Italian restaurants. If I go to that on Tuesday every week, and at the end of the month, I know I typically spend around $80. If my kids are home, I spend about $140. And the bill is somewhere within that range, I'm going to accept it. Now, if the bill was $70, and this time I left a $15 tip, because the service was really good, then it's $85. The next time it's $70 and the service wasn't great, so I left a $7 tip. I probably won't remember. So if the attacker makes a $77 bill $82, they add $5 extra to the tip, I probably wouldn't notice. Those are the attacks that are happening. They're not going in and doing $10,000 charges, because that would be too easy, too obvious, and most credit cards would block it. If you've never done a $5,000 charge, and all of a sudden there is one, that's going to be flagged. But if you're doing $80 to $90 charges and they add $5 to a $70 charge, probably aren't going to notice. How do you combat that? Easy. What I do is I use Apple Pay a lot. So whenever I'm paying, I always have my phone. Then after I add a tip, I always go in and my credit card always does text verification. So within 30 seconds of me paying, adding the tip, I get a message going, you just made an $87.53 charge at this restaurant. Is it valid? And I do yes or no on the fly. Now, in 30 days, when I get my credit card bill, I don't have to worry about checking because I'm verifying on the fly. Now, some people go, well, Eric, that's an inconvenience. You know what's an inconvenience? Having $30 to $40 being stolen from you every month, and over 10 years, you have $7,000 or $8,000 stolen from your account. That's a real inconvenience. So the question is, choose your inconvenience. I also, as I say a lot, you know what's an inconvenience? Seatbelts. You know what's an inconvenience? Stopping at stop signs. You know what's an inconvenience? Going the speed limit. But we do all those things because the benefit outweighs the risk and outweighs the exposure. So in this day and age, we need to recognize that we are at war, you are a target, and cybersecurity is your responsibility.